Girls. Today's objective in math is to use models to divide whole numbers and unit fractions. We'll be using some physical models and then we'll use some number models. This is Envision Math Lesson 9-6 and it's the last lesson we're going to do in Topic 9. The first warm-up question I have for you is to find the quotient of 1/9 divided by 7. Go ahead and do that now. Right, if I have a 9th and I'm dividing it by 7, it's going to get smaller because 1/9 being divided by 7 is equal to 1/9 multiplied by the reciprocal of 7. 7 is written as 7 over 1, so its reciprocal is 1/7. And when you multiply, right, numerator and numerator, and denominator, you get answer choice A. The next question. Miss Matthews has 200 sheets of construction paper. She will give each of her 27 students an equal number of whole sheets to use for a project. How many sheets will each student get? How many will be left over? You're going to divide the paper she has by the number of students. The quotient's going to be the number of sheets each student gets, and the remainder will be how many are left over. Go ahead and do that. Exactly, you're going to get a quotient of 7 with 11 sheets left. Let's move on to the lesson. I want to refresh your memory. If you're taking a unit fraction, remember any fraction that has 1 as a numerator, a unit fraction, say 1/4, and I'm dividing that by a whole number, my quotient will be larger or smaller. It's going to be smaller. I'm taking a small part, this 1/4, and I'm splitting it. I'm dividing it into pieces. Okay. So then, for example, a whole number divided by a unit fraction then will always be larger if it's the opposite. If I take 6 pizzas and I cut them into thirds, that is the same as saying 6 divided by 1/3. And that means I'm getting 3 pieces for every one whole. So my answer is going to get bigger. And what would 6 divided by 1/3 be? I could just divide across like how you multiply across in fractions. The problem is in my denominators, 1 divided by 3, I don't want a fraction or a decimal in a fraction answer. So that's why we're going to take 6 over 1 and we're going to multiply it by the reciprocal of 1/3, which is 3 over 1. And I'm going to tell you there are 18 pieces. And that is true. If I took 6 whole ones, 6 blocks, and I divided each one into thirds, I would have 18 pieces here. The number model is actually a little easier to solve, don't you think? Okay. Well, let's go ahead. I told you you could do this. 8/9 divided by 2/3. If I had 8/9 and I was dividing by 2/3, I could go right across here and divide my numerator by numerator and my denominator by my denominator. And when I do this, my 8 divided by 2, I get 4, and 9 divided by 3, I would get 3. So 4/3. Okay, that's improper, so we'd rename that to be 1 1/3, but that worked. But let's check this out. What if I did 8/9 now, and I want to multiply it by 3/2, which you notice is the reciprocal of 2/3, okay? Let's go ahead and do that. Well, 8 times 3, and I'm a little short on space, so I'm going to write that right here, 24. is my two numerators, 8 times 3, and 9 times 2 is 18. Well, 24 over 18 is improper, so I'm going to reduce that to be 1 and then 6/18. And 6/18 reduces, because I can divide each one by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Look at that. It works. If you don't believe me it works, take a math fact that you absolutely know. Take a math fact like 12 divided by 4. You know 12, and you know that if I divide it by 4, you know the answer is 3, right? Well, what would 12 times the reciprocal of 4, or 1/4, be? Well, it would be 12 times 1 and 1 times 4, and it would be 3 as well. So it really works to multiply the reciprocal instead of dividing. Okay. The visual learning problem in our book is this: to answer the essential question, how can you divide with unit fractions and whole numbers? A utility company is planning to install a wind turbine on 4 square miles of land. Each turbine requires 1/6 square miles of land. How many turbines can be installed? We're going to model the problem with a picture or an equation to help you. I know you're not big on pictures, but the pictures are excellent concrete models of what you're doing. You're taking the 4 square miles of land and you are dividing it into 1/6 parts to see how many wind turbines. So the first thing you could do is draw a model here. And when I do this, I have this represented as 1, 2, 3, 4, because the land is one piece. I have 4 square miles, and then look at in the picture. Each square mile is divided into 6 parts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in every one of these. And how many little 6 pieces do I have in each one? I have 24. So 24 wind turbines will fit on the land. Another way you can model this is with a number line. A number line is going to show you 4 holes here. Sorry, my little writing's over there. But 0 to 4 here. And in each of the 4 holes, I've split here into 6 equal parts. And there's between 0 and 1, there's 6, 1 and 2, 6, 2 and 3, there's 6, and 3 and 4, there's 6. So there are 24 1/6 in 4 holes. Which way do you like to do it? Well, you could say 4 divided by 1/6 equals 4 times 6 over 1. And please remember to put your 4 over 1. So it becomes 4 times 6 is 24, and 1 times 1 is 1, and I get the same 24 answer as I did in either of my models. Okay. Well, let's use an area model to check. 2 divided by 1/4, and then use multiplication to check your answer. I understand that you want to go ahead and just do the numerical equation, but you're gonna have to show a model at some point in your schooling. So let's see you do it right now. You would take 2. Okay, I'm just gonna connect my 2 to make it easy. And each one of my 2 whole ones, I'm gonna divide into 4s. 4 parts. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 being divided by 4, 1/4 is 8. And how can I use multiplication to check it? Well, 2 times 4, the reciprocal of 1/4, is in fact 8. There are 2 problems I want you to do right now I want you to do 6 and divide it into thirds. This is what you'll have to do on a Nearpod lesson of drawing a model. What is 6 divided by 1/3? Yes, but the model you have to draw me is to show me that you've taken each one of these little squares, because there were 6 of them. See, one square here, and you've divided each one into thirds, and you should get 18. The next one you can go ahead and solve numerically. I could take 3, and instead of dividing it by 1/4, I could multiply it by the reciprocal of 1/4, flipping my denominator, making it my numerator, and making my numerator my denominator. And 3 divided by 1/4 would equal 12. And that's it. There is a practice buddy and then a Nearpod check for you on this lesson. I do miss you. I know it sounds cliche, and I can't even tell you. I looked forward every day to going in and seeing your faces, so it's hard not to. But I love it when you tune in with me on Zoom, and it's at least a second best. I hope you're doing well. I know you're rocking school.